Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we have a very special guest. We have Bill Storm, and he is actually a Tony Robbins Corporate Trainer, a national speaker at Peak Performance Strategist, and his mission is to help clients break down the limiting beliefs that have been holding them back from producing the results they want in their business and personal lives and replace them with new empowering beliefs that will help them get clear and get moving in the right direction. Bill brings his expertise as a former member of ClickFunnels, registered speaking team and corporate sales training to his work at Tony Robbins. And he also works with clients that benefit from his expertise for 37 years of success and experience. Bill entered coaching through his first job as a martial arts instructor and coach back in 1988, where he fell in love with the opportunity to make an impact in people's life. And he has been a lifelong student of Tony Robbins. All right. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Wow, Sheila, thanks so much for having me.
All right. And I like to start this show out based on my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. That's how this show came about. I'd like to hear about a time in your business or personal life where you experienced a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Oh boy, that's a fun question. So I'm going to take you back in time, back to 1998. Okay, we're going to go back to 1998 because that's actually when I launched my very first business, when I became the CEO of my own life. So here's the story behind that. So one of the things that I really valued more than anything else is when I decided that I wanted to have a family, I wanted to be able to show up as that kind of husband, and I wanted to show up as that kind of a father for my kids in the future that, was there for dinner. I didn't miss any games. I didn't miss any concerts. I just didn't miss anything. And the reason that was such a big why for me was because I didn't have that when I was a kid. So that was really, really important to me. But the problem I had was the job that I was in. I had a corporate job, literally didn't give me any of those freedoms at all. I mean, it literally owned me. And I just knew that if I kept that path going, that I wasn't going to be living my best life. So I had to make a decision. I had to make a decisive decision. But the problem is at that time, my wife was 9 months pregnant. This is like February of 98. And she obviously had to stop working to prepare to give birth. And she and I had a conversation, and I said to her, I said, listen, if I don't do something about this now, if I don't make my move, right? If I don't make my move now, I'm going to be stuck in this, right? And at that point, I literally walked in and I quit my job, right? So talk about pressure. We say pressure creates diamonds. Well, you have to be a pressure player. And luckily I was, because I literally walked in and quit my job that day to start my own business.
Wow, that's incredible. That's wonderful. So yes, so I am so excited and grateful to have you here today. And I can just go on and on about how many wonderful blessings I've had being able to attend all of Tony's events over the years. And actually, I brought my family to Tony's events and we did a whole travel tour and everything. Oh, wow. And it was the best investment I ever made for they were teens. My youngest were teens at the time. So it was just the best time to have these type of lessons, life lessons, real people in their life to help them grow up into the wonderful people they are today. So, and they're still studying and learning and attending events. So it's wonderful. Thank you. Yes. So I'd love to hear more about all that you're doing. This is a really special invitation for those on here as well, because I'd love to share a little bit of Tony with my listeners.
Well, what's fun about this workshop that we're going to do is it's a mini version of Tony's flagship event, which is called Unleash the Power Within, as you know. And really what we're going to do is we're going to dive in and talk about our limiting beliefs, patterns, and habits that have been holding us back in all different areas of our lives. When you take a look at your wheel of life, you've got your career, you've got your finances, you've got your health, you've got your relationships, all of those things. And you know as well as I do, right? If one of those things is out of whack, it really affects the other areas of life. So for example, with your relationships at home, if your relationships at home are a mess and there's some sort of tension or stress or something like that, it bleeds over into your health, like your mental health, your physical health, and it makes you less productive. You can't stay focused. So we're gonna talk a lot about that. And I think what happens with most of us is we get into life. And when we first start out our lives, we're excited, right? We've got big dreams. We've got big goals. We've got an idea of what we want our lives to look like. But then we get into life and sometimes we start getting dragged through the mud a little bit, right? And we're no longer living in spirit. We're just kind of grinding it out. But the problem with grinding it out is just by definition, the definition of grind is to wear something down. And that's what a lot of us do. We wear ourselves down to the point where we end up breaking, right? So what we need to do is become conscious for the first time in a long time on what the limiting beliefs, patterns, and habits are that we have going on in our lives that are holding us back. So now we can make a conscious decision to do something about it.
Yes, that is so important. And, through the trainings that I've had, it has been such a gift because life, if you live long enough, you're going to go through some ups and downs. It's
Oh, yeah.
just part of life. And that's the blessing, the gift, and the difficulty of life all rolled up into one. But for me, when I've had my hard moments in life, like losing my youngest son, it was really, that was a lot for anybody. And it was the training that I received that helped me to get back on track quickly, to help me guide my other children. I have 6. I adopted 3 of my own. So this big family and getting everybody else back on track at the same time. And it's the training, it prepares you for things that happen in life. And it really gives you the ability to move forward and, kind of go through those movements that you've learned to prepare. So it was such a gift. I was so grateful. And all my kids have also gone to all the events. So we were able to get into state, to really focus on positive memories and beautiful things instead of getting stuck. And that it made a huge difference for us. It was such a blessing.
Yeah, I think where it really has a big impact, anybody who's really become successful in any area of life, usually we've all gone through some sort of pain where it was painful enough where it finally motivated us to make a move, right? To do something about it. Sometimes when you're comfortable, you don't really have that motivation, but when something is painful enough, you really do make your move. And that's part of my backstory too, as well, that I'll share during the peak performance workshop that we do. And once you figure out what your why is, you can really move mountains with that why, right? You have to have some leverage behind what you do, and Tony's just a master at that. And that's why it's so amazing to have the opportunity to be able to learn from him. And I've studied him for the past 35 plus years, so it's not an accident, right, that we're meeting here today, and I'll be able to share with everyone, because that was a seed that was planted in me a long time ago, and I can never be I could never repay that. So hopefully I'm going to be able to pay that forward to everyone. And if anybody decides that they would like to attend one of Tony's events, we actually have 3 of them this year, which is great. So I'll share some dates on that. And the other privilege that I have as a speaker for Tony, I'm only one of 5 that represent his face and brand all over the world, but I'm actually able to give people a speaker discount on tickets, so which is just a nice little added little bonus.
That's incredible. So nice. And now the events are actually live and also online. Is that correct for all the events?
Yeah, it's really fun now, because with when COVID hit, right, it really shook the company up a little bit, because all of our events were always live. And all of a sudden we had to figure out a way to be able to serve at a higher level. And it's been a real blessing, because at the last online version of it, we had over 25,000 people from 156 different countries that may not have ever been exposed to Tony or been able to just have the ability to get here to the States to be able to participate. So that's been amazing. So we've got 2 online versions this year. And then we have a live event this year, which is going to be held in Dallas, Texas. That's going to be November 9th through the 12th. So excited about that. And the other thing that we're doing now also, instead of just an online in studio, when we do a live event, we're doing a live stream from the event, which is really great. So if you can't make it to the live event, you can still actually be a part of it, just like a fly on the wall, as if you were there.
Yes. Oh, that's incredible. I will be there in November. All right. I'm
Nice.
looking forward to that. Yes, definitely. And there's so much energy and benefit from just attending the events, even online. Especially, I attended the first UPW online after COVID, and that was a beautiful thing. When we were literally locked in our state, we were locked down, so we were stuck in the house, and I had all the kids come over, and we were able to attend the event online. It was wonderful and such a gift. We really needed that. We had
Yeah,
the Tony.
we did the same. I did the same with my family. We put it on the big screen. We stocked the refrigerator. We had water. We had food. We had everything that we needed in order to make it into a little event just for ourselves. And it was really great to be able to share that with the people that I love, of course, and to be able to expose them to everything that Tony had to teach.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's incredible. So it's so important to give yourself the gift of time, you and your family,
Mm.
to take care of yourself, and this personal development and being in a group of like-minded people. So as soon as you attend, even if it's the online UPW event, you get to interact. Even if you're home, there's breakout rooms and you're interacting with other people, and you get to meet people. I mean, I have friends all over the world from attending the Tony events online and in person that have really become my closest friends. And it's that peer group, because everybody's looking for the same thing, to improve and to be their best selves at the moment. Best parent, and at work, whether you have a career or if you're running a business, it's really important to have that refueling, especially now. I mean, as a mom, to be able to be present for my kids, and I have some that moved back home while in college with everything going on. And so it's like this whole shift we've all had, and it's good to be able to refuel and recharge during this time.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I agree with you. The 2 things I recommend to people all the time is, once a year, do something where you're fully immersed in an event like that. It's kind of like when you get on an airplane and they say, if there's ever a loss in cabin pressure, the oxygen mask will automatically drop from the ceiling. Be sure to put your own on before you try to help other people. And most of us spend so much time taking care of other people, we don't take care of ourselves enough. So UPW is like a 4-day, 50-hour immersive experience where you get to peel the onion and get to the core of who you are again, and rebuild yourself up into that empowered version of yourself. And then the second thing that I always recommend people to do is, they say, hey, listen, once you go to an event like that, you're charged up, you're fired up. But what happens sometimes is people, it becomes shelf knowledge for people, right? They take what they learn, they put it on the shelf, and they don't touch it again. So what I do, kind of as an added kicker, and I think it's just because I've been a teacher for so long, I created a peak performance study group, where after the fact, and even leading up to the fact, is I have people come into my group, and we continue to train and study every single week. I go live every single week, and we take Tony's material and other material, and we break it down into 30-minute bite-sized pieces. So over the course of a year, if you show up every week, right, that's 50 hours of ongoing mindset training. What would happen if you did it for a year? What would happen if you did it for 2 years? What would happen if you did it for 5 years? What happens if you do it for 10 years? Who would you become?
Yes. And it really, having other people in the group and people to discuss and carry this forward with makes such a difference. I know my Tony peer group and the events that I attend, our masterminds online also, they hold you up, and they also pull you up when you're down. And
Yeah.
and that's kind of the kind of friends that you want
Right.
when you
Yeah.
need a when you need a good kick and a reminder to move forward. That's great, but also they'll hold you and hug you and love you through something as well. And so that is the beauty of having an aligned peer group. Oh my gosh, my beautiful friends in the group are just incredible, and really an extension of my family. And my kids love them all too, and have grown up now that they're young adults. This is the group that they also tend to attract is
Right.
the like-minded young adults, even in their college and work careers. So it's kind
Yes.
of cool that way. Yeah, definitely. So now, how does this work? How would somebody listening in be able to attend? This is a special, a free event, and how does that work exactly?
So there's just a simple registration link, and all you have to do is register for it. It's completely free. It's going to be an hour of power. We're going to have a lot of fun, and it's not a workshop where I'm talking to you. It's not a boring event. It's an interactive workshop. So when you attend the event, you're going to want to make sure you're in a place where you can have your camera on, as though you're in person at a live event. So I can see you and you can see me. And then the second thing is you're going to want to try to block out any distractions, right? So the first bad habit we're going to break is multitasking, which we all know is just an opportunity to screw up more than one thing at a time. So if we're present and we're there and we're playing full out, we're going to have a great time. You'll have a lot of laughs along the way, but you're going to also have a lot of aha moments and light bulbs that are going to go off in your own head. And this is really going to be, an hour to an hour and a half, depending on if I go off on any tangents with stories and having a good time, right? But it's really going to be all about you. And I think everybody will get a lot out of it. So all you have to do is just click on the link to register and join us.
Yes, and I will have that link available on the show notes. We're here with NBC's KCAA Radio, and that will go out to radio, TV, and all major podcasting channels. So if you don't see it in the show notes, then we will also have that link available based on my YouTube channel or sheilamac.com. That link will be everywhere. So you will be able to attend. It'll be in all the show notes so that you'll be able to attend. And I think it's so important. What I have found as a mom, and also running, I have some businesses that I run as well in leadership. The work that I do on myself, it shows up with my team members. I have a big team in Beverly Hills with real estate, and with my children, even if they're not attending, if they're too young, it shows up because as I work on myself, it's not what I say as a parent or a leader, a boss, it's what I do. It's how I'm being and all I'm doing. And that is going to make all the difference. So when you show up, you're investing in yourself and anybody else that's in your circle of influence. It's going to make a big difference for you. Yes. All right. All right. Well, Bill, is there anything else you'd like to share today for our audience?
I think just doing something very simple. And, Tony always says that when you need to make a change, you just got to make your move. You just got to do it. And one of the fundamentals that's helped me more than anything else is just the simple practice of showing up, right? If you want to get good at something, just show up today and then show up again tomorrow and then show up again the day after that. It doesn't matter where you are. You don't have to be incredibly intelligent or, athletic or have a special set of skills. The people that do really well over time are just people that just simply show up for themselves. So make the commitment right now. Just go to the link and sign up and register. And once you register, my goodness, please don't register and then not show up, right? Block it off in your calendar and make sure that you attend this thing live, because this is going to be all about you. So that would be my best little bit of advice. Just show up.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And Bill, I always ask my guests, do you have a time that you can go back and think of when you were younger what advice would you give your younger self? Let's just put it that way. What advice would you give yourself?
Well, that's an easy one right now. I've got a daughter that's 24 who's going to get married this year, which I'm excited about. And I have a mini me. He's actually bigger than me, but he's 21 years old, my son, Billy. And the advice I give them is simply this. I said, listen, it's exciting, right? It's exciting to have great ideas and to be ambitious and to have goals and all of those things. But what you really need to do is you need to take a little bit of time to be still and reflect about who you are as a person, who you want to show up to be, and stay in spirit, right? Don't ever lose that sparkle in your eye. My son's amazing. He's, Mr. Dimple personality, big smile. And I said, don't ever lose that sparkle in your eye. Stay in spirit. Figure out what your calling is, how you can serve people at a very high level, and focus on those. So don't chase money. Instead, just chase the idea of remaining in spirit and enjoy your life, because you don't know how long you've got, right? So that's really what I share with them on a regular basis to keep them grounded. But then the follow-up part is what I just said a few minutes ago, is show up for yourself. Take the time today, take the time every day to condition yourself to become better at the thing that you want. It's simply a matter of a few simple, Jim Rohn said this, right? It's just success is just a few disciplines practice daily. That's all you have to do. Just a quick example. One of the things that when I was back in high school, I lived in Syracuse, New York when I was in high school, cold, snowy place, right? And I studied Spanish as a second language in high school. Well, nobody really spoke Spanish up in the Northeast there at that point. So it kind of fell by the wayside. And all these years later, now I live down in sunny South Florida, and there's a lot of Spanish speaking people down here. So I decided to download the Babbel app to give myself a refresher and try to become fluent in it again. And I use that example with the kids. I said, every morning when I get up and I go out and I take my dog for a walk, I've got a 2.5-year-old golden retriever that I love to death. I said every single morning as we're going for a walk, I turn that app on and I do one of the lessons in Charlie's my pup. So Charlie and I learn Spanish together, and it's just simply a matter of that discipline of every day doing that lesson. It only has to be 15 minutes, but if you show up every day for yourself, right, over the course of a year, right, you can literally master something. I mean, you can give yourself a Ivy League education by just simply learning every single day, and most people just don't. So that's just a quick bit of advice for people. Whatever you want to do, you can master it. You just got to show up.
Exactly. So I hope you all show up with this special invitation. Again, look for the link, and that will be on the show notes, and also on sheilamac.com or on my YouTube channel, Sheila Mac Show, as well. All right. We hope to see you there. I will be there as well. Thank you again, Bill, for being a special guest on the show. And for all those tuning in, we'll be back after these moments. Thank you again, Bill.
Excellent. Thank you, Sheila. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. You may also be listening from one of the other stations, also available on Sheila Mac Show on YouTube. And everyone, I just got off the phone with Kurt Jensen over at Tony Robbins to confirm. And so I was able to schedule a live peak performance strategy workshop via Zoom conference for our entire group of listeners with one of the certified trainers that you just had heard interviewed here today, Bill Storm, on February 28th this year at 4 p.m., and that is Pacific time. Now, you need to register to be able to attend this event. If you have a work team, a group of people that you're working with that you want to join, they are welcome as well. And you just need to register to attend. And the registration link will be on the show notes here, as well as at sheilamac.com/Tony. If you're driving and listening in, sheilamac.com/Tony, or register on the show notes below. For those of you who don't know who Tony Robbins is, he is the world's #1 life and business coach and has trained over 50 million people during his 40-plus years career. Yes, that number is real. And the best part is that as the national trainer for Tony Robbins, our guest, Bill Storm, advises and consults with Fortune 500 companies, executives, and managers, as well as sales professionals in the areas of peak performance, leadership, organizational behavior, and the psychology of achievement and sales. And now we get access to them and their wisdom for free. which is absolutely incredible, and also why I am sending out this message today, this shout out, because I want each and every one of you to be there as my special guest if possible. And I believe it will help all of us grow individually and as a team. Let's vote for Team Humanity and get everyone on track this year. So please register. Again, the link is in the show notes. I've also made a special link, sheilamac.com/Tony, if you're driving and listening in. And once you do, you will see a quick video filmed just for you by Tony, where he explains a bit more about this opportunity. As Tony always says, it's times like this that we really have to take control of our own minds and emotions. So let's all set some time aside on February 28th so that we can get through these crazy times stronger and get to living an even better life than before. Don't miss out on this, because during the Peak Performance Workshop, you will learn to execute Tony Robbins' proven strategies to produce life-changing results in your career, your relationships, and your life. You'll take the Wheel of Life assessment to close the gaps between where you are and where you want to be. You will learn pattern-breaking techniques to determine a clear target of what you want in every area of your life, and complete a goal-setting exercise to uncover the driving force that propels you toward your goals, plus a ton more needle-moving activities. That's right. So I can give you my full commitment that you will enjoy this live seminar. And again, if you're able to attend the live workshop, then you can bring your questions and your team or work group questions as well, sales questions, to the live seminar. And again, if you register, you are also able to view the recording if you aren't able to make it live, but I do hope to see you there live. You can click the link to join and register to save your spot. That will be available in the show notes at kcaaradio.com. It will be on the show notes on my YouTube channel, Sheila Mac Show on YouTube. And also, if you're driving and not able to remember all that, then just remember sheilamac.com/Tony, and the link to register for you and your team is available there. Again, I can give you my full commitment, along with Tony and Bill Storm, that this event will be the best training you've participated in all year to produce next level results for you personally and professionally. We all look forward to seeing you there on February 28th of this year. And surprise, surprise, it is Tony's birthday on the 29th. So I do hope that you show up for the live Zoom, and we will be able to say a special happy birthday to Tony as well. All right. See you there. Again, if you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and wow, we've had a special guest today, Bill Storm from the Tony Robbins Group, and that was so exciting, and I am so grateful for that. And today's episode is really all about the importance of how to bounce back and of learning from the masters. That's right, the masters in their fields, and how attending events, reading books, listening to podcasts, radio shows, and finding a peer group is so crucial to your personal development and to recession proofing during these challenging times. Woo, and I'll tell you, I know if you have listened to any news or just scrolling a social media, you are going to see that there are some things going on right now that are quite interesting. There is nothing more important than community to find peace and freedom. and to get through times just like these. As we all know, the world is constantly evolving, and staying relevant and competitive in our careers has become more critical than ever. One of the best ways to keep up with these trends and stay ahead of the curve is to learn from the masters in our respective fields. These are the people who have already achieved what we aspire to achieve, and they have a wealth of knowledge and experience that we can tap into to improve our skills and knowledge. Attending events, reading books, listening to radio shows and podcasts, and finding a peer group that is aligned. That's aligned with your core values, your life vision, your purpose. That's going to make all the difference. Events such as conferences, workshops, and seminars are a fantastic opportunity to network with experts in your field and to gain insight from keynote speakers in the industry. Books, podcasts, radio shows, on the other hand, allow us to learn at our own pace and delve deeper into specific topics that interest us. And I think about my own business, the teams that I work with and lead in different industries. And it is so important that I show up in the space that's aligned with my core values, my life purpose, my vision. And having an aligned peer group really matters. It makes a difference to who I am, who I'm becoming, to how everybody else shows up because of the energy that I bring. And no matter what you do, what you're doing, working for someone else, you're a mom at home. I've raised my 6 children. I still have a couple home from college that are still going to college and working and home with this pandemic. And it's such a gift. But it's important to show them who my peer group is, to surround myself with aligned people. And that's a message, we can tell our team or our employees or our children, whoever we're leading or working with, we can tell them, do this or that, but it's how we live and how we show up that's truly going to affect them. And so that peer group is essential. And I'm very proud of my my children because they have been very aware of peer group, and they tend to attract and are attracted to aligned peers that are also interested in their values. And so that's something that's so important these days with all that's going around in schools, colleges, even, where our kids need to be able to find those groups and connect with them. So learning from the masters, again, in our fields and outside of our fields, finding that peer group, they're all critical components to our personal development and to becoming recession proof and getting through these critical, crazy times. So thank you again for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Sheila Mac Show on YouTube, Sheila Mac Show. And also you can see the show notes or also on my website at sheilamac.com. So now, again, I did want to thank Bill Storm, our special guest today, and let everyone know that I did confirm that we do have a special that I am able to offer to all the listeners. So if you have a small business or a group that you work with, invite everyone over. And this is a free, very special peak performance strategy workshop. This is a Tony Robbins special peak performance strategy workshop for you and your team with one of their certified trainers who you saw earlier, Bill Storm, and he will be presenting. I will be there, and I hope to see you there. The workshop will be live on February 28th. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And attending the live will give you the opportunity to ask your questions. Maybe you have a team or business questions that you want to bring. So I hope to see you at the live. I have also arranged to have everybody that registered, if you cannot make it, you will be able to watch the recording at your convenience. But again, the live is where you can interact and connect with the trainers and learn more and bring your questions. So register today, and that link is available on the show notes here at KCAA Radio. You can also find it on my show notes, Sheila Mac Show on YouTube, as well as on, if you go to sheilamac.com, you will see sheilamac.com/Tony. I have a special link. I've attached the link there so that you can easily remember that, sheilamac.com/Tony, and go ahead and register there if you are listening in on the radio, perhaps driving. So that's easy to remember, and I look forward to seeing you there. All right, if you are just tuning in, this is the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and I wanted to take a moment to reflect on one of my favorite authors and quotes. The quote is, "Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you're ready or not to put this plan into action." And the author was Napoleon Hill. Now, my memory, or my first meeting with Napoleon Hill, was actually back when I was 8 years old, and I did actually mention it in my new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. This was such a changing point in my life. I was 8 years old. I was living house to house. My family was not, my mother and father were having health issues. They weren't really able to care for me full time. So I was sent from one relative's house to the other. Sometimes I was with the healthy grandparents. Sometimes I was with a group of grandparents that wasn't so healthy, and there was a lot of abuse going on. And at this point, I was 8 years old. I remember I was actually in a nice neighborhood. Unfortunately, the home had a lot of abuse going on. My mother was home with me for a short time, and I had taken up some little part-time jobs helping out in the neighborhood. So I would literally, this is back in the day when this was, I guess, a normal thing, I would go help out with cutting the lawn or cleaning and actually polishing furniture when people actually did that. And I would go do that for the neighbors and get money. And so I went with my hard-earned money, and I went over to another neighbor's house who was having a garage sale, and I found this incredible book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And at the time, my little 8-year-old mind, okay, this is 8-year-old mind, there was a lot of abuse, and my mother wasn't financially able to, or health-wise able to help me. She had polio as a child, and she had some other issues going on and emotional things. And so it was hard for her. And in my mind, I thought, okay, this book is going to do it, because it is going to tell me how to think and grow rich. And I really need to do that, because I wanted to get my own house or apartment for my mother and I, so that we wouldn't have to be moving around, and she would be in a safe place and I would be in a safe place. And so I took this book home, and I slept with the book. I read the book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, from cover to cover. This little 8-year-old girl, I read that book over and over again for an entire year. And I literally still have that original copy with me today. I keep it on my nightstand by my bed, and I still reread it from time to time, and it has been such an incredible gift. And I think that somehow it was something that the principles in there, I took that to heart a lot of the principles in there, and I really lived by a lot of that, and the idea of creating a definite plan for carrying out your desire and beginning at once, whether you're ready or not. So that was my share on Think and Grow Rich, which is the topic of this show, is really about learning from the masters and connecting with aligned peer groups, attending events, and also listening to podcasts, radio shows, reading good books, all this to help us, especially during this time. And I did want to share with you, this is my original copy, and you can hardly see the cover. Maybe because I have it upside down. Think and Grow Rich. And this is my original copy that I got when I was 8 years young. And I do still read my book. I have it on my nightstand because it was the first transformational personal development thing that I got to attend was through a book. And it really did change my life. Even at that young age, it made such a difference. And a few years later, I moved at 8 years old. I convinced the family that was a little bit abusive to make me a small house. Basically, they had an old metal shed in the yard. It was a 10 by 10. And I convinced them that I would clean it out. It was all stuff nobody wanted. And that if I could make that into my playhouse, dollhouse, I called it at the time, being 8 years young. And that was basically, I made that into my tiny house, like before tiny houses happened, I guess. And that's basically where I lived to stay away from the drama and trauma of whatever was going on, and to just be able to go to school and come home to my little tiny house. And I did get electricity in that house. And so that's what I did. And that, I think that came from this book. And then by the time I was 10, I actually did I won this award. It was talking about, now this is dating me. This is how old I am or young I am, let's just say. But this was back when there was hostages in Iran, and we were tying yellow ribbons, and we had gas lines like we're having now, at least in some areas. Vegas, we have gas lines again with some kind of shortage or issue that's going on. So I remember I did a speech and ended up winning awards across the school district and then in many parts of the U.S. with other young children that also wrote speeches about the hostage situation. And I did get to present to, back then it was President Carter, who's now at home resting, and we are all sending him blessings as well. So that was by the time I was 10. And I really think that me plugging into my first personal development book really made a difference in how I changed things in my life. Even though at 8 years old, you don't have a lot of control over what's going on, I found crazy ways to find peace and rebuild my little life and get onto a much better track in life, for sure. So that is the topic of today's show. I hope this has helped. And again, I am so grateful. This is my third year here on the station, and now this show goes to other stations and all major podcasting channels as well. So if you are listening in, I would like to invite you, that's right, a special invitation to attend. Our earlier guest was Bill Storm, and he is a peak performance trainer with Tony Robbins Group, and he goes to Fortune 500 companies and offers this incredible program, this training. And so there's going to be a link and you can attend this training. It's going to be on February 28th. It's a live Zoom training. You are welcome to bring your company, your team with you to the event. All are welcome. You just need to join the link that is below on this show recording. If you are listening to the radio show and you do not see the link, then go to sheilamac.com/Tony, and I will have a link there for you to join. If you're not able to attend the live, the link will be available with the recording once you register. So you will be able to continue to register and watch the training. However, if you do attend live, that is going to make a huge difference because you can bring your questions, your comments, maybe your team questions to the event. And as an added bonus for pre-registering on the link below, you will receive Tony Robbins Peak Performance. And that is after you attend the workshop, you will get that. And this program will help you to discover exactly how you can eliminate fear and create excitement and spark passion to take every area of your life to the next level. So stay tuned for the program as it will be sent to you after the workshop. Okay, so you must attend the workshop in order to get that very special gift, which is the Tony Robbins Peak Performance gift, and that is after the training. So you may join again on the link, register. The online event live will take place on February 28th, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and I look forward to seeing you there. You will be with Tony Robbins National Strategist Bill Storm and myself will be on the event live and look forward to seeing you then. One more time, it's on the link to register below on the show notes or go to sheilamac.com/Tony. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and I have some news for you. Yes, you. I'm celebrating my 3rd year now on the station and will be expanding the show to a global network as well. You may now find the Sheila Mac Show on all major podcasting channels, and if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, all the episodes are now available for viewing there as well. And I'm asking you for a quick favor. If you like the show, please help support the spread of this reboot channel on YouTube as well. My goal is to help as many people as possible through our interesting times to rebuild, reinvent, and reboot your business and personal life. I also wanted to share a little bit more about how I got here, what I do now, and how designing a business career and life on your terms is more than possible at any age or stage in life. I am an enterprisingly forward-thinking consultant, show host, and best-selling author. But how did I get here? Well, I began my career as an entrepreneur and property investment strategist back when I was 23 years young, when I boldly quit my government job with NASA JPL to open my first of 5 large gift stores while also starting to invest in property. I got to work with some of the world's most loved companies, such as negotiations on leases with Warner Brothers and winning trips to London as the top-selling Crabtree and Evelyn provider in the U.S. for multiple years. My stores were built on heart as I gave back to the community I came from. So now, some of you know this and some of you don't know this, but as a young girl with parents who were not well enough to care for me, I was homeless at age 10, then in foster care, where it was really hard to get a job while in the system. I finally emancipated at the age of 15 to start college early. While running my stores, I worked with a government program. Back then, it was called Job Training Partnership Act, making my stores an open source training site where close to 200 at-risk youth started their careers. Yes, I began my career helping business leaders and working professionals to design a life they love where they can have success in their careers and get to the business of life. See, a funny thing happened along the way. When I first opened my gift store, it was kind of crazy because I was this young upstart. That's what a lot of the store owners called me. My first store was in Montrose, California, in this sweet little hometown shopping park with other stores and restaurants nearby. And so I was the young upstart that didn't know what she was doing. At least that's what everybody said. And I didn't really care what they said. At that age, their opinion was like, I don't really care. So that was probably a really good thing because I stayed focused on what I needed to do. And I had negotiated to lease out a 5,000 square foot gift store that needed a lot of work, and I got free rent and for about 6 months, and I had to start making the rent, which was $5,000 a month, which was a lot of money back then, $1 a square foot. And so I had to learn and relearn. I finally did hire quite soon in the game. I did hire a marketing expert, branding expert, I guess back then, and that lady really helped me to figure things out when I first started. And when you first start a business, especially when you're young, it was like I had no idea what to do, but I needed to learn because my rent was going to start coming due every month. And over that time, I started having more success. I did crazy things like stayed open until almost midnight every night, along with the restaurants who were very close to my store, while everybody else closed shop at about 5 or 6 p.m. So I was making more money from the start, and I just really, my store was to help my kids, and the products I sold was whatever the community wanted. I sold lots of things to people in the entertainment industry. I worked with cruise ships. I worked with many different people in the community. And later on, the store owners actually came to me and asked me if I would consult them and help them. I actually started buying my other buildings because I didn't like the idea of paying rent for years and years and years and not building equity. So I did get my real estate license through that and invested and bought my other 4 store buildings. And lots of the other store owners worked with me, paid me to consult and help them do what I was doing. And I didn't really even know it was called consulting. I just knew how to figure it out, I guess. And so that's how I started my career. And now, I raised 6 children, all that, and now they're grown. And so I get to come to work every day and do what I naturally do best as an enterprising and forward-thinking business leader. Through my show, courses, and live events, I guide entrepreneurs and working professionals like you through the profitable steps of building a business, creation to expansion, marketing from planning to implementation, wealth preservation through strategic planning and, yes, real estate investing, and lifestyle design so that you can earn more while getting back to the business of living your best life. So I do invite you to tune in here to KCAA Radio, and also I would really appreciate it if you went to my YouTube channel, Sheila Mac Show, and gave a subscribe and a listen to some of your favorite shows. And I do have some other exciting things, including a free gift to thank you. So if you go to www.sheilamac.com, that's SHEILAMAC, sheilamac.com, there you can get a free gift to get started on your reboot this year. And now, back to the show. Thank you for joining us on NBC Sheila Mac Show, where we feature real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. Don't forget to catch all of our past episodes available on my YouTube channel at Sheila Mac Show, as well as on KCAA Radio and all major podcasting channels. And before we go, be sure to visit sheilamac.com to claim your free gift from me, myself, and I, and stay up to date on our monthly focus and special gifts to help you reboot and live your best life. Keep tuning in to The Sheila Mac Show for more inspiration and motivation to help you achieve your goals and give time to that which matters most.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.